Thank you for staying with Citizen TV's Kenya's Choice 2022 wall-to-wall coverage. Our guests are still with us here in studio. Dr. Nancy Omolo, Gender and Political Affairs Expert, Eric Theuri, LSK President, and Mwanamisi pia yuko hapa hivi. Ulikuwa na swali by the Mwanamisi?
Naam, swali langu lilikuwa linamwendea Bwana Eric Theuri. Alikuwa amezungumzia idadi kubwa ambayo imeshuhudiwa ya viongozi ambao wamechaguliwa ambao walikuwa ni wagombea huru pamoja na wanawake. Sasa kuna pita zangu hapa katika mitandao ya kijamii, namuona mwanasiasa mmoja analalamika kwamba kura za safari hii hazikuwa huru kwa sababu kulikuwa na wizi mwingi sana wa kura. Lakini kuna mpiga kura mmoja ambaye amekwenda pale, amemwandikia tuseme kama kitabu kizima sababu za kwa nini anafikiri kwamba hakuchaguliwa. Na ukiangalia alikuwa na kama ana points. Manake alikuwa anamwambia kwamba wewe ulikuwa unatarajia kwamba baada ya kupatiwa nomination ya chama ulirelax. Ukadhani kwamba ile tikiti ya chama itakupatia wewe tiketi ya moja kwa moja ya kuingia ubunge. Na alimpatia tu maneno mengi. Lakini sasa nataka utueleze, pengine haya mambo ambayo yanajitokeza sasa na wananchi wenyewe pia wameanza kutoa kauli zao, wamekuwa huru, wanazungumza. Pengine inaweka siasa za Kenya katika mwelekeo gani? Tuseme katika siku zijazo, wakati huu watu wamepiga kura, wamepigia kura wanawake wengi, wamepigia kura watu bila kuangalia misingi yao ya chama, wamewaangalia watu kama watu. Pengine katika siku zijazo, mustakabali wa siasa za Kenya unaelekea wapi?
Mi after Mwana amesema mustakabali, hiyo story imeishia hapo.
Wakati amesema hivyo nikaona ni kama kuna maadui zangu.
Nikimaanisha mustakabali na maanisha huko tunakokwenda siasa za Kenya zitakuwa zinachukua mkondo gani? Yani line gani ambayo watu watakuwa wanafikiria kabla kufanya maamuzi yao?
Kusema kweli, kwa maono yangu, baada ya uchaguzi watu wengi watarudi nyuma kuangalia kuona, kwa sababu kuna wale ambao walikuwa wanatarajia watafanya vizuri. Na ukiangalia katika sehemu nyingi wale vigogo wa kisiasa wameangushwa, na wengine wameangushwa na watu ambao hawakutarajiwa ama hawakuwa wanajulikana. Kwa hivyo kuna udhahiri kuwa wananchi kuna vitu ambavyo walikuwa wanatafuta kwenye viongozi wao. Kwa hivyo kwenda mbele, naona kuwa chama, na ukiangalia pia vile viongozi walichaguliwa katika mchujo, the nomination process. Kuna vyama ambavyo walichagua watu without kuwapeleka kwenye mchujo. Kuna vyama ambao walienda kwenye mchujo, na utaona kuwa wale ambao, vile vyama ambao walienda kwenye mchujo, viongozi wao wengi wamechaguliwa. Kwa hivyo kuna umuhimu sasa, kunaonekana kuna umuhimu kusikiliza wananchi vile wanavyosema wakati wa kufanya uchaguzi, the internal nominations za parties. Because ukianguka pale wakati wa, ukikosa kufanya vizuri wakati wa nominations, then kuna matokeo, na matokeo yameonekana. Utaona kuwa kuna candidates ambao walitolewa kwenye nomination process, wakaona haikukuwa fair, wakasimama independent,
na hawakutoboa.
Wengine hawakutoboa, wengine wameshinda. So kwa hivyo kutakuwa na some sort of realignment. Kitu cha pili, kuna idadi kubwa pia ya watu ambao hawakupiga kura. About 35% to 40% ambao hawakuenda kupiga kura. Wengi wao hawakupiga kura kwa sababu wanaona kuwa kupiga kura hauna maana. Hakuna maana kwa sababu serikali inakuwa vile vile tu, haibadiliki. Hivyo wale ambao watapata jukumu la kuendesha serikali kwa miaka 5 watakuwa na you know, the need to reach out to this and to show a difference. So this in my view is going to be, itakuwa ile uchaguzi ambao going into the future itabadilisha vile tunafanya siasa zetu.
Itakuwa ni uchaguzi ulokomaa pia tuseme.
Kabisa.
Kwako Trevor.
Dr. Omolo, that is an interesting question that Mwana is asking. I will not ask it in Kiswahili. Are we seeing a movement of the people now focusing on more of their agenda, or is the party under which you vie for office with still a big issue in this country today?
All right. I can see that during this election, we've seen some changes, though parties are still really important, but we've seen some changes. For example, if we look at the ODM areas in Homa Bay, Siaya, Kisumu areas, we saw, for example, the ODM give direct tickets to his candidate. This time we didn't have primaries whereby people are going and they're elected by the people, and it avoided a lot of fights that we always see. But you find that, for example, in the ODM region in those areas, 3 candidates have made it as independent candidates. That's the women rep in Migori County, the Fatuma, Shabil, and we've also seen Ochieng win, get elected under UDM party, which is not popular in that area. So it's already sending word out that, if you're a good candidate, you have a good track record with the Wananchi, then you can still get elected on another ticket. But we also saw people like, former Nairobi Governor Evans Kidero. He really wanted to get the ODM ticket in Homa Bay County, which is the only county in the Western Bloc which has elected a woman. And he came with a lot of resources. He was coming with the name and everything. And at some point, I didn't think that Gladys Wanga would win that election because the patriarchy level was really high. Some people say that, no, you're married here, but you're from Kano, you're from Kisumu County. So we cannot be in Homa Bay. We are electing someone from Kano, and the Kano people also have a chance to elect their women, their governor somewhere in Kisumu County. But we also saw that she went through. So for the women who've actually made it in politics, it's not that way. They're just women. These are women who've got track records. These are women who've got agendas to sell. And when you go on the ground, actually, you ask people, why do you want to elect this specific person? And they tell you that, yes, we want to elect this particular person because she's done A, B, and C. And also when you go to Meru and you see Kawira Mwangaza, winning the governor seat, Kiraitu Marungi has been a senior politician in the area, and now it's been taken over by these women. But then people are saying there are a lot of women elected this time. So yes, there are a lot of women elected, but you have 7 women out of 47 governors in this country. So the number is still very small. It's only that we are moving to 2013 where we didn't have any woman elected governor. Then we moved to 2017 whereby we had 3 elected governors. Unfortunately, we had, the late Laboso of Bomet. And now we are having, so we've made a lot of progress. So many people are asking me, do we still need affirmative action? And I tell them, yes, we still need affirmative action. Because even if you see these women who have won the governor seats, some of them they won the seat before under women representative, people like Wanga, people like Cecil Mbarire, they'd been nominated, somebody like Anne Waiguru, she'd been a cabinet secretary. So they'd held certain positions which put them above the society and gave them a platform on which to vote. And also, even if we move away from the women, we ask, are we having youthful? We saw Simba Rati win the governorship of Kisii County, and some people were saying, why is he leaving Nairobi to go and vie as a member of parliament to go and vie for Kisii? Will he really make it? But we saw he's making it. So even when the youth, and also we saw Jalango win election in Langata constituency. But these are also, they're bringing something to the party. So it's not only that we are getting more women just because of the women, but they have something to bring onto the table. Yeah. We're getting youthful people winning election, not just because of the youth, but they're bringing in certain qualities on the table. Yeah,
and Dr. Omolo is making very proper points on that one there. But did the party primaries get it wrong? Because they do have 3 ways of doing this. There's a consensus, there's direct ticket, and there's the universal suffrage. Where did they miss it, that some people who they rejected became independent and won those tickets?
Party politics has also a lot of loyalty to, quote unquote, the honors of the party. And that is a shift that I'm talking about. That the party loyalty to the honors of the party should not override the choice that the Mwananchi do have. And I say this because if you are to contrast, for example, the performance that the Jubilee Party has had in central Kenya, you can see a message that was being communicated to the party, and the fact that the electorate felt that the party no longer represents the ideals for which they supported that party. They then shifted their ideals to another party, and so it basically means that the notion that you have to be loyal to the party leaders then is slowly being eroded. Of course, in party management, loyalty to the party is also extremely critical, because when a party gets into power, then it has a certain agenda, and it cannot push that agenda unless it has loyalty and the members sticking to the ideals of the party. But then in terms of then the actual execution of the mandate of the party, it is becoming quite clear that the electorate would hold the political parties to account, and where they feel that the party has not lived to the ideals and to the manifesto and to the promises that they made to the Wananchi, then that party is likely to suffer in a subsequent election.
Yeah, because we did see when they were giving the direct ticket, some of them were saying that we've done our own internal polls and you're the one who's most popular. Then it turns out that that is not the person the people wanted. So the question then is, who was doing those polls and how did they get the results? Dr. Omolo.
Yes, I think even there was no transparency whereby they're saying that they've done the polls and they're not giving us that we've used this polling. How did they choose those pollsters to do the polling and say that this is the person who's more popular? And I remember from around 2002, I wanted to do some research about political ideologies. And someone told me that, it's really hard to have a political ideologies in a country like ours. Even in the United States, you've had all these parties, the conservative and, the Democrats. But it's still very kind of challenging. But in Kenya, as much as we're talking about political parties, what matters is like who heads those kind of parties. When you look at UDA, when was it formed? So Kenyans still look at a political party and they look at the individual personalities within that party. So today you can have UDA or you can have UDM, but in the next election, you find that these parties no longer exist. They've made certain coalition and, people move. So as much as we talk about parties being important, it depends on who is that individual politician who's influential within that party and also within that region. Because now you can see like UDA got a lot of majority seats in the central Kenya and even in the Rift Valley. And even people like Isaac Ruto tried and they didn't get it. People like Gideon Moi, they didn't get the Senate seat even in Baringo because the wave was kind of very, very, very strong. But then you go to other places also. When you look at other places which are not having presidential candidates, you look like Western Kenya. They had all kind of parties. They had ANC, although ANC lost a lot of ground. You saw ODM going to win seats there. You saw UDA taking the Senate in Kakamega. And also they still have their traditional party, the Ford Kenya. So as much as Azimio thought that, they're going to have a lot of influence, some people told me that, what, in this area, Ford Kenya is still our traditional parties. And also when you look at the coast and those areas, and even if you look at the Ukambani region, so places which did not have a presidential candidate, they were a bit kind of flexible in which party you could go with to parliament.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear more about this research. So what did people say in terms of how come we are not focused on ideologies? The parties and the personalities are still the driving motivation.
I think we really still don't have that. Still in Kenya is about individual politics, because when I look at a place like the United Kingdom, and you see the Prime Minister, was going to resign, And then when you talk to them, they tell you that, yes, he's going to resign because it's their party who's recalling him back. When they start resigning, your ministers and your MPs start resigning, then you're going to be left alone. And then you either have to resign, you have to actually resign if your ministers or your MP starts resigning. Yeah. And a party is so powerful that it can recall back a politician, their prime minister or their member of parliament. But also the same thing like in South Africa, when you have the ANC, the ruling party, they were also able to recall Zuma back and have a new kind of president, because those parties are really very strong. Although even them, they're facing a lot of challenges. And sometimes I ask myself, is ANC going to continue being strong in the future? Because even in this kind of country, the KANU party was the most powerful party in this country. But today you look at KANU party, how many members of parliament have they had? How many senators? How many governors have they have? So we're having this dynamic, we're having this transition, and everything is changing. Certain politicians who are very popular, maybe they're not, we've seen in this election that they've not come out very popular the way we thought they're really popular. So maybe in the future, we might have very strong parties who actually can say that this member of parliament is not performing. So it's not only going to be left with the wananchi that after 5 years is when you can recall kind of your member of parliament. But can we have parties who can discipline members of their party? Can you have a party, either you have UDA, either you have ODM, or you have a Wiper party, which can tell the elected president that, you know what, you're not performing well, and we can recall you. And you saw that with the Jubilee. And you ask yourself, could Jubilee have been able to maybe call the president, Uhuru, and say that, you know what, maybe you're not going to the direction we want. Can you step down and be replaced with somebody? So we've not reached there, maybe in the future, but at the moment, we are still about personalities and politics. Yeah,
David, I know we were talk about the political parties and the structures and whether we need to strengthen the structures more, or is it the people who need to have more goodwill? But first, let's cross over to Mwana. Mwana, utuenda wapi sasa?